Hey guys, welcome back to Banter Bets and BPL. We've got a round table going, brand new season, Sunday night. We just watched, the first game week one of Premier League action. Some of us had some bad bets. I hold my hand up there. Horrible betting weekend for me and a fantasy weekend. Actually, it was quite a bad opening weekend for me all around. But it's great to have Premier League back. I think there's a couple winners out there. Let's just go around and say hi to the guys. We got Coach Cam from Ottawa or Kingston. Where you at, Coach Cam?
Yeah, I'm in Ottawa right now. I've been in Ottawa over the summer working, but I'm only here until the end of August, so 2 more weeks and I'm back in Kingston.
And how was your game week one experience?
It was I don't know. I thought it was pretty bad. I lost all my bets, which kind of sucked. So I guess it didn't go well. But I won in fantasy by 1 point, so
There
it
you
ended
go.
up working out, I guess. Yeah.
Peaky win. Keegs, I know you had a good weekend all around, I believe.
Yeah, it was a good week. United won, City lost, so that's a good start.
Yeah,
I won in fantasy to go top of the table with a 57-point week, despite having only one of my defenders start. So it's an issue I got to sort out. And then I had a positive betting week. Can't complain.
very nice. Sandy, what about your bets? You hit anything?
I had a little bit of a slow start to the year, but I did get at least one bet win, so not a bad weekend overall. Like -15, pretty comfortable. In fantasy, got a nice little cheeky 2-point win over Cody. So me and Cam with a combined winning margin of 3 points in the pod. So pod's feeling good about their fantasy wins at least.
Yeah,
And because De Bruyne got subbed in and no one saw that coming, I thought I was done going into the City game. So pretty happy with the result.
there you go. All righty. Well, let's take a little walk through and recap the weekend. We started off on Friday night. Fun atmosphere, man. I always was kind of like, you know what? Even games without fans, they're still not bad. Like fans are cool and everything, but you know, they're only like I'd still want to watch games without fans, which they did a great job. They had to do it, but just the fans at the Brentford game, like it's just so easy to get up for that. First game in the top flight for 74 years against an Arsenal team who you could just tell was scared shitless because all their players have no sack and Brentford's got, Tony, confident players, a team all together. And it was like the perfect way to start it off. I thought I would have loved for a Tony goal, but yeah, I don't know. Is Sandy, I know you had a Brentford top newcomer. Did you like what you see from them? Are you happy with that?
The Brentford Brigade. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's kind of nice seeing we saw Watford with that result too, but you see the championships come up and they have some confidence going early in the season. They'll give some teams some runs, like we always see it, and then maybe they're not they fall off a little bit towards the end of the year. But for the start, at least we can enjoy watching them have a go at teams and have a few upsets here and there. So that's always fun to see.
Yeah, especially when the first game's at home, and
Yeah.
especially in this scenario, the crowd was absolutely buzzing. From this game, Arsenal, on the other hand, were just flat. I picked out two Arsenal players who I think could be in their starting 11 if they were to, I don't know, even get back to even being close to top four. And that's Tierney and Smith Rowe, who I thought had good games. Coach Cam and Brother Keegs, between you guys, can you think of any other Arsenal players that are, worthy of being in a top 5-6 team in the Premier League? Or is this like a big rebuilding job that they're not even close to finishing?
Cam, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can jump into this one. That's a tough question because I think that Arsenal this looks awful. That's a tough one. I don't know why, but I like Burnley a lot. I think that if they're gonna have any success, like he needs to have like a solid goalkeeping season because their defense is pretty shit. Not gonna lie, like Pablo Mari moves slower than like a sloth. Like literally, he's like the slowest guy ever on the turn. But yeah, that's probably the only other player I'd be picking out because I was gonna say Smith Rowe looked really good, looked lively.
Yeah, he did.
He's been pretty class, whipping in balls, and defensively he's pretty sound.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think if they're gonna go anywhere, they need him, and then I guess Aubameyang needs to come back and like score like 20 plus goals and like being an absolute threat, or they're not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know. At this point, Aubameyang and Lacazette are watching that, brother Keegs. Are they coming back? Or are they saying, you know what? Actually, maybe we're a little bit sick. And I don't know. With anyone, Barcelona? I know. Well, Barcelona can't afford anyone, but I don't know. Maybe they're, they're not exactly rushing back to the training pitch on Monday, tomorrow morning. I don't think.
Man City panicked by Aubameyang and Kane.
Keegs, you got anything on that, or?
I don't know. It's a little bit suspicious that just the day of the game they both just.
Yeah.
I don't know what the deal with that is, but that's pretty disappointing from their point of view. But I think you're definitely right about Tierney. The other one that I'd pick out, and I think might even be a little bit better than Smith-Rowe on his day, is Pepe. I think he was off to a really slow start, but I actually think this could be a bit of a breakout season for him. Anyone, whoever has him in fantasy, I'll gladly take them off their hands to improve my midfield. But I think he could be out for a bit of a breakout season. I think he's one of their better creators, and he's got a moment of magic in him in front of the net on his left foot. So I think he's a decent player.
Yeah, no, maybe he'll have a good season. I thought he was really bad in the game, though. He, I don't know, him and Balogun were just like every time they got the ball, they'd shoot. He had one really good when Tierney crossed into him. He had a good shot.
Yeah,
there.
that was an unreal save.
Yeah, that was a fantastic save. But all the other times he's just shooting over the net. I don't know. I think Pepe might turn out to be a bit of a waste of money, but yeah, I don't know. Saka is obviously coming back a little slow. I don't know why he didn't start, but I don't know. They got to figure something out because, yeah, like the defense, central midfielders, and then when you're without Lacazette and Aubameyang, their front four was what? Martinelli's 20, Balogun's probably like 20, Smith-Rowe's 20, and who else did they start?
Pepe.
Oh, and Pepe, I think he's
Pepe.
22,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah, something like that.
Their
Yeah,
front four is like a championship lineup, like a championship group.
yeah, that's tough for the first game of the season to be starting like that. And it gets worse for them because what do they have? Chelsea and Man City in their next two games, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We might have to be staying away from Arsenal for a bit. I think if there's never this market on Bet365, but people are always talking about first manager sacked. I think Arteta could be a shout.
Okay, I swear to God, before the season I saw that, and then I was trying to look for it again because I wanted to bet Vieira. But yeah, right now I think it's definitely between those two, Arteta and Vieira.
Yeah.
I think they'll have that short a leash on Vieira. I guess we can get that later, but interesting take.
They sacked Frank de Boer after like 5 games in one season, right, Keegs? So there you go. Any more Brentford thoughts? I saw Canio scored a nice goal. He's on your fantasy team, Keegan?
Yeah, that was a bit of a, I'm not going to try and claim a stroke of genius there. That was just a bit of luck. I was actually thinking on Friday, I was thinking, I wonder if Mbuemo got drafted because I wouldn't mind just dropping Canos for Mbuemo. But so obviously he was taken and I didn't get around to it either way. So a bit lucky there, but Mbuemo looked good as well. I just missed a couple.
Yeah, you did, Cam. You got Mbuemo, eh?
I did. Yeah, I drafted him. I want to say like one of my later picks, my second or third last pick. I remember it being super late, but he actually looked really good.
Oh yeah, so. Brentford to me, they looked exactly like Sheffield United from 2 seasons ago when they came up and were really good and just not a ton of big names, but everyone played together. So I think they
definitely
I think they'll be good this season.
Someone should have drafted the entirety of the BMW trio in fantasy. That would have been banned. What's
BMW?
Buendia, Mbuemo, and Watkins when they're all in Brentford, I think. Isn't that it?
Benrahma, Watkins.
Benrahma
came from
Watkins.
Yeah, Benrahma and Watkins came from Brentford.
Benrahma, Watkins, and Buendia. Yeah. And they're tearing up the championship.
Yeah.
Someone should have got them all.
That was the front three,
yeah. I got 2 of them actually.
They also had Mopai before that.
Yeah, they had Mopai too. Yeah, factory.
You can always tell a championship team when there's a throw in 10 yards by the corner flag and they're like whipping it in.
Yeah,
throwing it in.
And
I'm like, oh, this is a championship team for sure. And they
scored that Arsenal had no idea what to do.
Yeah.
I thought Tony was going to get sick for that because wreaking havoc. He didn't touch the ball, but he caused the havoc that resulted in the goal. All right, speaking of havoc, the next morning, unfortunately, Sandy and I were a little hungover and missed most of this one, but United 5-1 over Leeds. That's the first time I've missed a first United game of the season in forever. But 5-1 over Leeds. Oh, brother Keegs, you watched this, right?
Oh yeah.
Just from the highlights, it looked like Bruno and Pogba were just magnificent together. Is that going to be something that's going to win us the league this year, or what do we got going brewing here?
Yeah, it was pretty scary. As a Rashford owner who typically plays down the left, I was pretty scared about Pogba occupying that position. He looked great. He looked like the Pogba of the Euros, Pogba for France. So that's always a good sign. The game was actually a really entertaining game. The best matchup was the midfield matchups, because it just seemed like United were kind of embracing the man-on-man style that Leeds were playing, and there were so many good battles in the midfield between like McTominay, Click, and obviously Fred and whoever else Leeds had center mid. I honestly forget now, but it was super entertaining, super havoc. Bruno looked unbelievable. The defender, I think they had a Cock or maybe Stroik playing holding mid, trying to man mark him, but absolutely nowhere near him. It was just a disaster from Leeds. It's always funny that they're just like, well, we're going to play man on man, but when you have 11 players that are inferior to the opponent, it's tough to pull off, and sometimes you're due for a bit of a bollocking.
Yeah, the way Bruno took his third goal too was just it's just such a confident strike. Like when I've already got two, this one's bouncing, bang. And he and Pogba are buddy on Instagram after the game with their poses, doing each other's stuff. I like to see that. A happy, motivated Pogba could be huge for us. Plus, this is with Sancho to come in and probably start next week, hopefully over Dan James. We've got no Cavani in the squad. We've got obviously Rashford to come back. We got Varane to step in. So I don't know. I don't want to get too excited after one game, but City dropped points. Coach Camp,
already top of the table.
Yeah, we're top. Do you have any thoughts on this?
I actually was thinking about this, how you guys looked really good, and then I was thinking that exact thing. Like Sancho I think it's gonna be really good this season. I think Rafa Varane is literally like 3 stepping ladders above Lindelof. To be honest, I think that he's gonna be a huge addition. Rashford's still injured. He's gonna come back. Cavani. So yeah, you guys are looking pretty dangerous. But Pogba was occupying the left, but he kind of was roaming a little bit, and he looked just good. He just looked really good. So yeah, and Bruno's Bruno. So
yeah,
it's gonna be a little scary, but we'll see. I'm sure David De Gea will fuck up a couple of times, or something's gonna happen, and
probably.
But we'll see. Yeah.
Anything on the lead side? Luke Ayling finally scored. I told you guys he's a bomber. Scored a nice goal. Hopefully they just don't concede 5 every week for the sake of my fantasy. I need Ayling to step up, or he might.
Wouldn't be so sure. Second season syndrome. People have figured them out.
Maybe it's
I honestly, a lot of people talk about they kind of a lot of the pundits dismiss second season syndrome. They're just that's not really a thing. That's not going to apply to Leeds. They were too good for that last season. But I don't know. It's kind of the same thing with Sheffield, where it's you have these radical styles of play that in the first season it worked really well, but it's pretty similar to Sheffield, where I could see it really dropping off.
Yeah, maybe.
Out, especially when you're you have that distinct of a style of play people are used to.
That's weird though. You'd think, I don't understand how it's just oh yeah, for the first season no one understands and no one gets it. Then you know what? We saw these guys first season. We know how to play them now. How does it happen?
All the managers are spending their whole summer's game plan against the promoted team that stayed up.
Yeah.
It's just conspiracy.
They just didn't have time to do it for the reverse fixture of the season before.
I was gonna say, Keegs, you're gonna have a great week here. your cash team top of the table, United top of the table,
Top of the betting
Well,
table.
Betting table.
top of the betting table. Yeah,
Going for the treble.
still a few weeks of summer left.
Yeah, going for the trouble. Excuse me. All right, on that sneeze, we'll move along to Burnley and Brighton. Couple of the B's, as Keegan said in his betting video there. Yeah, I don't know, man. This one, it was funny, Keegan. You said, yeah, for this one, my thoughts on this game were after that Tarkowski goal, it's like, okay, last season the refs and VAR were just disallowing every goal. So over the summer, they're like, all right, boys, unless there's a murder that happens, we're not calling back any goals. Like, play everything. There's no chance last season they would have let Tarkowski's goal stand because, yeah, I mean, Mopai's soft. We all know that. And he probably went down easily, but there's no chance that it was a push and he fell down and kind of, he was weak. But yeah, no
Do you
chance.
see the like right before the goal, the wrestling match between Chris Wood and Duffy? That was a literal wrestling match, like right before the goal.
Who would you take in a wrestling match in an MMA ring? Shane Duffy or Chris Wood, Cam?
That's a tough one because Duffy's Irish, right?
Yeah.
So like those Irish guys can fight for sure. But I don't know. Like if I was walking down the street in Birmingham or somewhere, I would never want to walk into Chris Wood. Like he's a pretty big guy too. So I don't know. It's a tough one. I think personally, like Duffy would take the cake. You can, I don't know, maybe get some tips from Conor McGregor or whatever.
Yeah, McGregor
but I
would
think
be
it'd
in
be
his
a good
corner.
fight. Yeah. So.
But then Chris Wood in his corner would have like all the rugby guys from New Zealand, and
yeah, that's true. Yeah,
be a tough one.
Chris Wood from New Zealand.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Keegan and Sandy, any thoughts on either Duffy versus Wood or the rest of the game?
Well, the goal that should have been disallowed. I mean, he absolutely bull rushed him. He looked like Aaron Donald for a second there. But the thing is about that is which kind of is ridiculous to me is that if that would have happened anywhere else on the field, that's a guaranteed foul that they would have called. But because it's to disallow a goal or something like that would probably be a yellow card foul, something like that. And it was funny too because right after he scored it, like the camera was showing Tarkowski, and he kind of turned around like laughing, like almost like he expected it to be disallowed.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny, but I don't know. I thought it was a good game. I think Burnley looked pretty sharp. I think Brighton maybe got a little lucky in that one actually.
Yeah, I needed them for one of my parlays there, and it was looking good for so long, and then bang bang, just like what happened in the Newcastle game against me. Yeah, I don't know. Sandy, it was looking good for a little while. Tarkowski to score and Burnley to win 1-0. Imagine if you'd have bet that, how pissed you'd have been.
Yeah, we were laughing at that. Never happened all last year, but the first game of this year we had a glimpse of it.
Yeah.
So we might start sprinkling a little bit here and there. But yeah, that would have been devastating, especially since I bet on Brighton this week. So it would have been a little double whammy. Kicking him down. My old friend Tarkowski.
Brother Keegs, Brighton, do they need another striker? I know Mopai scored. Is he good enough?
I don't know. It'd probably help because he still missed a couple, I think. But I don't know. If they get him a good striker, it'd probably help. But we'll see what happens. I hope they don't, considering I have Mopai on my fantasy team.
Yeah, I think he can be all right. Like, I thought it was a little overblown how last year everyone's like, oh, they need to upgrade Mopai. As much as I don't like him as a player, just because he's got such a punchable face, top 5 punchable face in the league, of course.
Speaking
I think he's all right.
Speaking of, I was such a Mopai moment when he had a yellow card, and this was after he scored. Given my fantasy history of having every player that gets a red card, he's on a yellow card. The ball, he's like chasing the ball down the line and it goes out of bounds, and he just punts it into the stands. And then everyone's like going crazy on Burnley.
He's like Duncan McGilvery.
And the ref runs over, and I'm like, oh my. I'm like, you just can't control yourself for 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ref ran over and then didn't give him a card. And the commentator's like, you know what? The ref ran over like he was going to give him a card. And then he realized that he already had a card, and I don't think he wanted to send him off for that.
Yeah, probably. Way she goes. Yeah, he's like the Duncan McGilvery of the Premier League. effective, but a pest. Chelsea 3-0 Crystal Palace. Marcos Alonso, like what's going on here? How? I mean, I still lost to Patrick, and Patrick had him on his bench, but like, is Alonso just going to be playing over Chilwell now, Cam? You surely can't. You can't take him out for next week and maybe even beyond.
Yeah. Yeah, that was quite the free kick. Yeah. That's a tough one because I think that Marcos Alonso is tied with Benjamin Mendy for the worst defending left backs in ever in the Premier League ever. Not just this season, in the past 5 seasons ever. But like, I don't know, Chelsea's has been so strong defensively, like, and if you can have players like Marcos Alonso be banging free kicks, and then yeah, sure, I'd be playing him in over Ben Chilwell, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. If you can afford to have Alonso just be an attacker, basically, then yeah, it's a fantastic asset. Keegs, Sandy, I know Keegs, you have Vieira to get sacked first. Is this, or you would have had Vieira to get sacked first? I got Palace relegated this. I mean, it's just away at Chelsea first day, but I don't think they looked too great, did they?
No, I don't think so. And their attack looked uninspiring. Not surprisingly, given how good Chelsea is defensively, but they play against Brentford next week, and that'll be a really telling game, I think.
Yeah, that's a big one. Sandy, any thoughts on this one, or should we keep rolling along?
Did anyone happen to read the Athletic season preview of the Premier League?
No.
Well, in their review, they had a hope-o-meter. It was just like a graphic of all the teams and their fans, just polled on the percent of fans that are optimistic or pessimistic based on the season. And Crystal Palace came in second place with a 95% optimistic rating.
Really? I thought that was I was expecting to be off that way with that stat. It's like, oh god.
No. Apparently Palace is, everyone on that side of London, they're really bullish on Vieira and all the new signs, everything like that. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that pans out at all. Because they didn't look good at all.
Yeah. In any case, just a standard 3-0 win. I mean, Chelsea look good. They're going to be good this season. Just a little bit different characters than I expected. We'll see what happens when Lukaku comes in. I'm sure the first time Marcos Alonso has to defend in a game, then we'll actually see, and maybe Chilwell will come in. But for now, they're looking all right. Everton, Southampton, another game I thought was going to be low scoring that just absolutely blew up on me. Did you guys see Michael Keane on Southampton's goal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just an absolute gift. Cam, as a former forward, you ever get a gift like that?
I've definitely got a couple gifts like that. I remember one time in USA Cup, actually, we need to win the game to advance to the quarterfinals in our group, and one of our goalkeeper Mitchell Mack had punted the ball like down the field, and I was running straight when the center back left for the goalie, and the goalie ran out to get it, but like, it's USA Cup, it was raining the day before, and the ball skipped over the goalie. I had an open net, just tapped it in, and we ended up winning 1-0.
Lovely.
Yeah. So an absolute gift. But Michael Keane, I actually thought he had a stroke when he was on the ball.
Yeah,
like,
I thought his controller died.
Around it. Yeah, or something. He was looking around, and then he just like paused. I was like, "What is happening?" And then it was quite the finish, though, by Adam Armstrong. But yeah, Michael Keane looked a little slow on that one.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think of this? Armstrong seems like he can score a goal. I think he had a few in the championship last season. Do they have enough to stay out of trouble this season, or was losing Ings and Vestergaard and haven't brought a ton in? Are they going to be in trouble this season, Sandy?
And we can't forget about the Che Hive up there. It's a pretty lethal duo. So little 1-2 punch up there.
Yeah, they got Armstrong and Adam Armstrong.
Adams Armstrong and Stuart Armstrong.
Yeah, that like Che Adams, Stuart Armstrong, and Adam Armstrong.
Oh yeah, you said Stuart Armstrong. Yeah. So I think with those two up there, they'll have at least a little bit punch. They'll probably be able to outduel some of the other relegation fodder. They'll probably stay out.
On the Everton side of things, Doucouré, one of Bill's favorite sons in fantasy, with the winning goal. Also, can we give Richarlison some credit here? The guy played the Copa America and the Olympics, right? Won a gold medal at the Olympics, and then he shows up and he's starting game 1 and he scores. I didn't even know that was possible, Keegs. How does he do it?
And a gold medal at Copa America too.
No, well, Argentina won.
Oh
Silver.
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really
Whoa.
that was a big brain.
Pretty sure he missed a pen
If-
too. No, I'm kidding.
If Lionel Messi is watching the podcast, hey, we're
Gonna be
sorry.
pissed.
We're sorry. He would be. That he
You
would
can direct
be.
all the hate mail to my personal email.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah, I was shocked that he's playing. Usually when like guys that are at the Euros are still like, oh, they're gonna miss the first couple games because they're on extended holiday. Richarlison just must have gone straight from Japan to the Everton training ground, trained for a couple days, and then he's back in scoring the goals.
And that's funny to me because I don't know, like him and like players like Wilfred Zaha just strike me as like just lazy kind of hotheads. So I don't know, like I feel like Richarlison's the last person I'd think to go Copa America to the Olympics to straight to training and wanting to start the first game.
I agree. That is a good point, Cam. I
So-
mean, he is a hothead. He's he's lost his temper a little bit, but good player, and yeah, I don't know, good for him. Leicester 1-0 over Wolves. Not really too much to talk about on this one. I guess my takeaway would just be that, Iheanacho finishes last season strong. They bring in Daka, but Vardy looked as sharp as ever. It was a really well taken goal. Is Daka and Iheanacho eventually going to take over, or how long can this Vardy thing keep rolling, Cam?
Vardy looks really good. His finish was unreal. Like that was like just experience and just class. And I don't know, it's hard to hate Jamie Vardy, to be honest, because he plays great, he wins games, and then he does the howling to the Wolves fans. Like that's just it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It is beautiful to see that. So I love for Jamie Vardy. I still think he's gonna just slow down a little bit. It's tough to play. He's getting a little old. But I also said that at the I think
I know.
my last pod. I said that same thing, and because I said that, he's not going to slow down. So, but yeah, we'll see.
But like the way he took his goal, even if he loses his sprint speed, as long as he's still quick, because I was like, there was no chance. Like Saiss, or I think it was Cody, was in front of him, and then he was just like, the cross came in and Vardy's behind him, but before the cross was whipped in, and it was just split second, 2 steps in front of him, getting something on it, top shelf, bang. Like if he's got that quickness and quickness of mind, then he should be good for, I don't know, another 2-3 seasons at least, even though he's I think 33 right now. So even if he loses the pace on his FIFA card, he's not going to lose it up top.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't know, Keegs. I know you were super pumped for Ait Nouri. He didn't even play, eh?
Yeah, I didn't even play, and then the worst thing was Kieran just giving it to me, being like, "Oh, he was never going to play." Marcel started their most recent friendly, and I'm like, "Man, Kieran's giving me stick for this. I feel stupid."
Yeah, of course.
just a shout out for Mike. Mike drafted Semedo on like round 6. I was with him in the draft, and he was like, "Yeah, this guy's a great pick here. Like he's playing wing back in the Wolves 3-5-2. He's gonna be bombing forward."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Mike, I owned him last year. I had like 1 assist all year. So you reach from around 6 and you play today, and he's on Wolves and he sucks."
Yeah.
So shout out Mike for that one.
Yeah, I know. I remember looking, just like typing in Semedo's name somewhat early in the draft, and I was like, "Oh, he's gone already? That's weird." I thought for sure.
Yeah. Well, that was part of the reason why I panicked, because I really wanted to take Ait Nouri going into the draft, because I heard I assumed he'd be starting. I heard lots of good things, and like a ridiculous stat, like under the manager at Benfica, I think Grimaldo was the left back, and he had something ridiculous, like over 2 seasons, like 60 games, he had like 20 assists or something, or like a goal contribution in every 3rd game. And I was like, holy shit, like I need to get Ait Nouri. So when Semedo went pretty early, I was like, oh shit. So that kind of made me like certainly reach for Ait Nouri, given the fact that he didn't even start.
I saw the couple chances Wolves did get were just Adama Traore just busting through. Like he's looking a little bit better than he did last season. I thought he had an off season, so maybe if he and Jimenez can get that partnership going again, big man, little man, although it's more like big, strong man, little, fast, strong, also very strong man. But they're going to have to do it for Wolves because, with Neto and Podence and those guys hurt, there's not too much creativity in that team.
Yeah, well, as long as it's Adama not shooting the ball, doing everything but shooting the ball, and let Jimenez shoot, because his breakaway miss was brutal.
Yeah.
And he had that one goal last year where he almost broke the goalie's hand. Almost broke the net.
Yeah. Yeah, if you shoot it hard, eventually you'll get lucky enough that it'll just hit the net. So that might have to be his strategy. Volume shooter.
And Pepe.
Yeah. Pepe. All right, another surprising one that I thought was going to be low scoring and ended up with 5 goals. And Watford 3-2 against Villa. They came out to a 3-0 lead. So many people are like, I feel like Watford was the promoted team that a lot of people are like, yeah, I don't know. They're probably going straight back down. Like they don't have too much firepower up top. The back line is the same as it was when they sucked a couple of years ago. Sarr's their best player, but he's not that motivated. Like I've heard it all against Watford, and then 3-0 and some excellent goals in this game. We had that Cucho guy scored a nice goal. Dennis had a poacher's finish. McGinn scored a nice goal. Coach Cam, any thoughts on this one?
I think that it's great to see that Dennis guy come in and score.
Yeah, where's this guy from?
I didn't even know they signed him, but
Me
he's
neither.
from didn't he play for Ghent or something like that?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's wrong. I'm not 100% sure. I thought he did, but yeah. And then I own Ismail Assar in fantasy, and he looked pretty great, to be honest. They were ripping that right side all game. And it was nice to see like that Cucho guy get subbed in and scored. And they're saying commentators after he scored say this is 4 years in the making. I'm not 100% sure what the story is behind that, but he seemed pretty inspired after scoring, so that's great.
Yeah, he was very happy.
Yeah. But yeah, like I loved the game, was enjoyable. Watford looked pretty good, and I thought Villa was going to be a pretty strong team, but yeah, they took them down. So good for Watford, and without Troy Deeney too.
Without Troy Deeney, well, that's the thing, Keegs. We were talking about the forwards for Watford. Deeney maybe he's slowing down. Gray will probably play. João Pedro, I know Pedro did play, but no one was mentioning this Dennis guy. Is he legit? Is he going to be a few in for him in fantasy this week? I'd bet.
I imagine he'll be one of the top pickups. I have no clue if he's legit. I mean, I just pretty much saw the goal rush highlights of the goals, so I admittedly don't know a single thing about him.
Yeah, me neither.
But Deeney's definitely buried in the depth for now.
Deeney's buried. That's a weird one.
He's relegated to super sub.
Yeah.
I
do hope
we see about this.
I do hope we at least get to see a Deeney penalty this season of him just blasting it down the middle and then getting excited.
Just hear Martin Tyler yell Deeney at least once.
Yeah.
The other thing
I was thinking about this too. Oh, sorry, Keegan.
Mine's just pretty relevant, but I'll go quick here. The other thing that I'm hopefully looking forward to is Ben Foster getting a game for Watford, because last season he has his YouTube channel, and last season he'd put a GoPro behind the net, like in the net during the games. So hopefully he gets a game and we could watch that.
Yeah, just watch the whole game from there.
from the back angle, seeing just his butt the entire game. but what I was thinking actually, because Liam and I were talking about this is kind of irrelevant as well, but Marco, everyone knows Marco from last season. He drafted Lacazette, Deeney, and Tammy Abraham as his 3 strikers, and me and Liam were kind of busting his balls about Lacazette potentially leaving, Tammy Abraham leaving, and Troy Deeney like retiring and not playing. And this is kind of coming true here, Liam. I don't know. Like, Troy Deeney's buried. Tammy Abraham is for sure leaving, and Lacazette didn't even play. I don't know what that was about. So, Marco, if you're listening, you're in trouble.
But if he's getting a hat trick from Bruno every week, then he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. Yeah, exactly.
It was also nice to see Ashley Young in the lineup. So I'll point that out. A little nostalgia factor.
Yeah.
I did not think he would start. I thought he'd be more of like a squad captain kind of guy, but
yeah.
Get an early start.
He and Deeney having a beer after the game, reminiscing.
Yeah. Did
you guys see the last thing I was going to bring up was the foul for the penalty for the Villa goal? Just some all around awful. He like scorpion kicked him.
Yeah, I have Virgin Traore on my fantasy team as well, actually, and I was looking at that and I was like, what the heck? Like, why did that happen? And then because he had an assist, but he didn't start, and I'm like, so I had to watch it back. because Ing scored like that super late, like 98th minute pen or whatever.
Yeah.
And it was just like he beat him, and then they kicked his leg out. And then after, the funniest part was him like put his hands up, like I didn't touch him, but
Yeah,
it was pretty
that was
blatant.
just like
It was pretty blatant.
we're up by 2 goals. It's the 97th minute. I
Yeah.
don't really care. I'm just gonna kick this guy.
Yeah,
And he
it was
tries to
pretty bad.
dribble
It was
by
pretty
me
bad.
and then pretend I didn't do it. And if they score the pen, the ref will probably just blow it anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So and then the late game was another just kind of standard. Actually, Keegan, you might have a little bit more on this because I was actually driving Reed to the airport at this time. But Liverpool 3-0 over Norwich. You said Norwich looked good to start the game, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, I had to miss the second half. Something came up, but the first half, Norwich actually did look pretty sharp. Probably a bit of a promoted team boost, but they created some chances. They looked pretty well, and then I think Liverpool's first goal was really lucky.
Yeah,
and then I'm not sure what happened in the second half, but I imagine they came out with little momentum in the second half. But yeah, Norwich looked sharp. I'm looking forward to them against City next week, but that's I guess foreshadowing my future bets.
There you go. Is Kanate going to get into the team?
I don't know, man. I have some decisions to make with my defenders this week.
Yeah, you don't want to be too because that's the thing with those. You don't want to be too reactionary and drop a guy early, but you also don't want to waste some time and get some zeros. So tough call.
I mean, my tip's decent. Like he'll probably get hurt at some point in the future, but like, he's pretty good when he plays.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you guys watch the game, the second half, like very late in the second half? Norwich, did you see that save that Allison had?
Oh yes, that's another thing I wanted to bring
that
up.
was unreal because I was playing
believe...
Dave in fantasy, and Dave has like Van Dijk. I was like, oh, it'd be perfect. Norwich just scored. They're down 3-0. They just scored, and then from a long throw, I'm pretty sure that materialized again. So
I don't know about the long throw. I think that one might have been like a wide free kick or something. But
maybe, I forget, but yeah. Oh, it was a wide free kick, kind of bounced around, but the first save was just amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, it was one of those point blank saves that it wasn't even like, a point blank save is usually with the 2 goalies here. It's just make yourself big and hope the ball hits you. This is like a point diving save that right, Cam? I'm pretty sure he was like diving.
Yeah. He dove before the ball was actually struck because when he played slow, it's like he just guessed correctly.
So I guess he was still anticipating it, but it looked like he just had the quickest reaction times in the world and was just able to like dive out and make the save.
Yeah,
like a volley 4 yards out.
Yeah, that must have hurt.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yes, I'm happy you brought that one up, Cam. That was good. So yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea, and Manchester United at the top of the table right now. Do you guys have any? I know it's early. Who's the best team out of those 3? We'll leave City out of it because I still think they're probably the favorites to win the league. We're not going to overreact after one game, but after seeing the other 3 play, Sandy, who do you think's the best team out of those 3?
Sorry, I was just watching the Allison save. I didn't catch that one. It would have been funny if the Norwich guy just kind of like cut it back a little roller and just dove out of the way.
Yeah.
But, what was the question?
Who's the best team out of United, Chelsea, and Liverpool? Who's gonna challenge for the title?
I gotta say, well, I'm really interested in United this year because if Pogba and Fernandes are clicking like they were today, like you could say they're the best team in the Prem. Like those are like 2 world-class players, and when they're just going like that, I feel like they're both just kind of prone to some mood swings or a little capricious. So like they could I think things could implode a little bit there, and they could get down themselves. Their form could fall apart a little bit. So United will be like when they're riding high, I think it'll be really good, but I don't know if they'll have the consistency. I think Chelsea's like really solid. I'm kind of scared of Chelsea and the Chelsea fans this year.
Yeah.
Especially just based on what they did last year and some really solid additions. They've got a system that works. Yeah, I think it should be a really good, like, I don't know, couple horse race for the Prem at least this year.
Mm-hmm. I have a bloody nose right now, so I'm hoping you guys can drive the bus for a couple minutes while I go clean that up and talk about the title.
Perfect.
The forest fires in Kelowna, it's really drying out the air.
Literally, yeah, that's what I've heard. But Yeah, I have to agree with you, Sandy. Chelsea do look really good. And I don't know, like on the other podcast, my future, I do think Romelu Lukaku is going to be the top goal scorer. So bringing in that player, like that dominance, this is going to be it's pretty scary. And they're just so sound defensively. Yeah, I think they're going to be really good. What about you, Keegs?
Yeah, no, I think it's actually going to be a really good title race. And I don't know, we probably say that every single season, something to look at, but I really believe it this year. I think each of these teams, like City obviously included, might be ahead of the pack. Maybe not after today, but United, I think, look really good. All of a sudden, it seems like they have depth in their attacking positions, like how good they were, and then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, Sancho, Rashford, Cavani, Martial, maybe not Martial, but all of a sudden there's depth there, and then Varane didn't even play as well, so they look good. Chelsea, hate to admit that they
about
look,
it.
yeah, even without Lukaku as well, so they look pretty good as well. And then a lot of people, I think, forget that Liverpool, like with like Van Dijk and all these players coming back, like this is the same Liverpool team that lost the league to City with like over 90 points or whatever it was that one season, and then won the league as well. And it's pretty much the same team, so they're a real threat as well. And yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
All right.
Just like cauterized, ready to get back to work.
Good job, guys. Yeah.
Is that tampon? Mm-hmm.
You just can't make this stuff up on a podcast. But we just roll through anything because we don't know how to edit. So I guess did you guys give your picks on who's going to challenge for the title out of those three?
Yeah, basically everyone was undecided.
Everyone's undecided. Well, we'll give you guys another couple weeks before I'm gonna need a concrete answer out of you guys. All right, that takes us to Sunday, and another game that I thought was going to be low scoring was a 6-goal thriller at Newcastle, of all places, to have 6 goals fly in. West Ham 4, Newcastle 2. I think West Ham might have another fun season. They got Ben Rama's come into the team now after kind of betting in last season and looks good. Souček again looks good. We got Antonio scoring. Keegs, you're going to be happy about that. It's tough to see him scoring for another team, as he's been with me for a long time. And then Bowen looked good. Did you see Bowen almost scored a super nice goal when he just kind of dribbled through? I don't know. Newcastle kind of throw it away really quick in the second half, but West Ham looks good. What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah, Bowen went on a little Ben Arfish run there.
Yeah, he did.
To the whole back line. Yeah, I mean, West Ham, they pretty much bring back the same squad. They didn't really lose anyone.
Well, Lingard would.
If you had someone, Lingard. Hey, we don't know yet. Maybe I'll stroll over to London. But yeah, they'll probably just keep rolling as long as Antonio can stay healthy. It's a big asterisk, but they can keep the talisman up there. They should be fun to watch. And like you said with Ben Rama, like last year he was kind of cold with the team. He wasn't really getting in too much. But even when he played last year, you could see the flashes. Like he takes guys on.
Yeah.
Not afraid to make things happen. Look good today. So add a little spike into their team.
Yeah. Brother Keegs, speaking of fun players to watch, Alan St. Maximin, he absolutely turned, like, I didn't even know you could dribble that much on the first goal and just, I guess you didn't see the game. Sorry, Brother Keegs. We'll go to Coach Cam for this one because, it was just like,
I did see that.
if they had, I was almost like, what are you doing? Like, you got to release the ball. But then he just dribbled, made Declan Rice look like a fool and just whipped it in perfectly. It was a hype goal 4 minutes in to kick off the season at home. He's a fun player, isn't he, Coach Cam?
Yeah, I love him. Like he's just amazing. Yeah, you're right. The ball seems to like in moments, if he's able to do this all the time, he'd be great, but almost glued to his foot.
Yeah.
He looks so good. And yeah, hopefully he's going to bring a lot of that this season. He's going to be a really important part in Newcastle's game. Callum Wilson started off the season great with the goal. He's going to be an important piece. And but Newcastle's still Newcastle. It seems like they just aren't able to to hold the entirety of the game. And yeah, the defense just looked a little shaky, and then maybe they're just a little, I don't know, maybe they didn't believe that they're going to be ahead at halftime, and they're like, what the fuck do we do now? We have 45 more minutes, and they just
no
forgot how to play. But
I used to be up at halftime like that.
Exactly, yeah. So
yeah, no, Cram, you're right, because I thought they look attacking wise, they looked much better than I expected. But yeah, and you concede 4 goals at home. I think they conceded 3 goals in like 10 minutes in the second half, and it just flipped on its head. So I don't know, maybe if they get relegated scoring a bunch of goals but can't lock it up in the back, maybe the fans will wish they had careful what they wish for, because they want more expansive football rather than Bruce.
well, I have a little sympathy for them, because I personally believe that the penalty wasn't a penalty on Fornals.
That's a weird one, yeah.
I don't know. I didn't think. I thought like Murphy got the ball kind of. Well, I think he did, but at the same time, I don't think like that's like the deciding factor. I think they're gonna get scored on a couple more times anyway. But yeah, a little sympathy for them.
It did look a little bit soft, but it also looked like, oh, Murphy's kind of like not really a defender in a awkward position. It's just like, oh, dude, don't swing at that ball. Like, you take a bad touch in your own box, then you just swing as hard, not as hard as you can, but you like kind of lunged out and swung to try and clear it. And yeah, never a good idea to do that. Brother Keegs, I know you missed the game. Do you have any thoughts going forward on any of these teams? Either of these teams?
Yeah, no, I agree. I really agree with your point about the Newcastle fans kind of complaining about boring Bruce. So that's a bit, it's a bit funny that they can just score at home and look exciting. But yeah, I missed the game. Pretty funny circumstances that I'll get into really quickly here. So we get invited, myself, Cody, and brother Kieran, just to play just a little bit of a kickabout on Sunday morning. And I think, well, it's Newcastle West Ham, like whatever. I'll gladly miss that game to get some touches on the ball. And then all of a sudden, I like towards like about halfway through, I check my phone, like 2-1, check it again, 4-2. I'm like, holy shit, what did I miss? Like, sucks that I missed that game. And then gets down to next goal wins. Cody's on the other team, and we get like a goal disallowed for some nonsense. They go down 2-0 the other way.
2-0.
Sorry?
I was just laughing at 2-0, not even a 2-1, just a 2-0.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's classic
Sunday league.
Yeah, classic Sunday league 2-0 after we've been playing for an hour and a half. Next goal wins. Ball gets played across to Cody, 2 yards down, 2 yards out, blasts one off the crossbar, off my face, and back into the net for an own goal for the loss. And then I was really wishing that I didn't skip the West Ham Newcastle game. So a bit of a double whammy there for me.
That's a tough one. And then Tottenham 1-0 Man City. I don't think many people saw this one coming. Coach Cam, what's the problem? Is it obviously City started bad last season too and went on to win the league quite easily. Obviously, we're not going to panic too much, I'm not going to panic at all. I'm going to rejoice. Obviously, you're not going to panic too much. Yeah. What are your general thoughts on this one?
Couple of things. The first thing is, I thought I'm not too worried because we had players like Nathan Ake and Benjamin Mendy on the field. And Ferran Torres as well playing as the number 9. So yeah, not super worried. I was really happy to see De Bruyne on the bench and then actually come in, because I thought Pep said he was out for another month or something. I mean, he played, so that was a good sign. I thought Jack Grealish actually did really well for his first game, which looked good. But yeah, a little disappointing. I'm not too worried. Yeah, the team they actually looked pretty good. Especially the first like 30 minutes. Like City was going to score like 5 times. They just never did. And yeah, leave it to Heung-min Son to come in. But if City can somehow lock up Harry Kane, then that's going to be, because I thought Ferran Torres was just awful and they need a number 9. So if they can lock up Harry Kane, then it's definitely going to be a good season. But if not, they're going to have to maybe play Jesus or play De Bruyne through like a false 9 setup or something, because we're definitely lacking in the striker department right now.
Yeah.
But yeah.
On the other hand, I thought Spurs did look pretty good actually, and talk about the goal. We got the goalkeepers here. That goal that's Diaz's fault, right? He should be like, he basically dummied it.
I don't know. That was really weird.
That was a weird.
Like his whole body movement made no sense. How it
Yeah, I know.
like that.
It's
But-
like,
and then
to
it-
me,
I don't know.
seemed like he was like, okay, I'm gonna clear this, but then at the last second, he's like, nope, I'm gonna miss it just so that the goalie, like, I don't deflect it in my own net or something, and then he ended up just dummying it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you got to question Ederson a little bit because it's a shot from outside the box that he hasn't even dove for. It's almost like he was like, I don't know. It seemed a little bit to, you got to blame him a little bit for not even diving, like just assuming that the defender is going to clear it, or I'm not sure what the deal was, but obviously the defender didn't clear it and then it just went in. So I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
Ederson just knew he wouldn't get to it because he's kind of small and not super athletic. So he just like, yeah, save my energy.
Yeah,
Long season here, boys.
How fortunate that Diaz looked like such an idiot, so that the blame went a little bit on him.
yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't know. You guys pick out any Tottenham players? I thought Lucas Moura had a really strong game.
Yeah. I think Lucas Moura was really sharp. He looked really good. Son, honestly, he scored the goal, but he looked pretty pissed. Especially in the first half, it was like Lucas Moura would dribble past four guys, get it to Son in a threatening position, and then you'd kind of like do a little like fake and then not do anything, and then send a long ball back to the center back or something. I'm like, what the hell? So I don't know. I thought he was kind of poor actually, but Lucas looked really good. I think he was definitely their bright spot. And maybe there's a bit of a City bias here, but I actually thought like Spurs showed the roadmap on how to beat City. I think Spurs looked very threatening in the counterattack, and it seemed like there were several occasions, even in the first half, the ones that Son ruined, where it was like, it seemed like it was a 4-on-3 for Spurs going down the other way. And I know Ake and Mendy are suspect defensively, but I don't know. I think it showed a bit of a weakness for City, defending in transition.
So you're saying, Coach Cam, maybe you should be a little more worried.
Maybe could just be
Maybe,
my bias,
yeah.
but if I don't know, it looked like Spurs were happy to sit back. City did create a lot of chances, but Spurs also created a lot of chances on the counter.
Yeah, well, the Champions League final too is kind of the roadmap on how to beat City. And
yeah, well, you know what? City have lost 3 straight competitive games.
Yeah.
Okay.
They haven't scored in either of them. They lost all 3. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Will they ever score again? Who knows?
I hope they do. Hope they score at least one more time. But yeah,
No,
I don't know. I thought Tanganga did really well. So
Yeah, weirdly, like I didn't
literally,
think
yeah.
he'd be starting right back, but yeah, solid, super solid back there. Anyone, any last final closing thoughts on this game?
Is Spurs better without Kane? Ewing effect?
Ewing
saying
theory,
it?
yeah. Well,
Are people
maybe
saying it?
at least for the first little bit of, hey, it's kind of that this guy doesn't want to play for us. This is the team he wants to play for instead of us. That's got to motivate you, right? Let's go out there and show him. And the fans were singing, "Are you watching Harry Kane? Are you watching Harry Kane?"
Goosebumps.
I thought that was fantastic.
Yeah, maybe City's doing Spurs a service by crying Kane away.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. Amazing how bad a guy can become a bad guy. Just like
how quickly.
Yeah. Sorry, how quickly. I misspoke there. To wrap things up, anyone have, want to give a favorite moment of the weekend? Coach Cam, do you have a favorite moment of game week 1?
Oh, let me just the fans do, like, you don't really realize, this is pretty classic, like what you have until it's gone, but the fans coming back, every goal, the first goal at home and every game gave me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Seeing, but the Brentford's first goal was kind of, I think that, I don't know why, what was the first game, it was the first goal of the Prem.
Oh, you stole mine. That was,
you can just see,
my moment.
Yeah, okay, it just was like, just electrified, and I felt like I was in the stadium, and it was just great. So I'd probably pick that moment, and it's also the first moment. It's super exciting for the Premier League to be back and to be watching. And so yeah, I'm gonna go with that one.
There you go. Brother Keegs, moment of the weekend.
Probably the Spurs Harry Kane narrative. I just think it's awesome that not only did he not play, but they also won without him playing. I think that's a huge moment for Nuno, where it's just kind of like, well,
Yeah.
if you want to miss training, I don't know what the behind the scenes deal with that is, but like if you want to miss training, that's fine. We don't need you. So I don't know. Really, really appreciate that storyline, especially the fact that it lines up perfectly to play against the team that he wants to go to.
Yeah.
So that was really pleasing.
Sandy, moment or narrative of the weekend?
I thought the Fernandez hat trick was class in the opening weekend. It was pretty sick, and especially the way he took that third goal
Yeah.
over the shoulder blind. I was like, that's how you start the season off. That was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
Yeah, very nice. For me, I'm just gonna go with because this was early this morning when it like woke up at 5:55 for the Newcastle game, and then was kind of expecting, I was like, oh, this is gonna be a slow one, but then St. Maximin just destroying Rice and then putting in that cross, and it was like bang. Just love to see a header from Wilson, and Newcastle fans are up for it. That's my moment. Or I like Canos one too, but I'll go with the St. Maximin cross Wilson goal, and just kind of watching Maximin because he had a few just runs by guys and makes it look easy. So that was my I guess moment player kind of narrative of the weekend, even though they lost.
He does things that you only think existed in like as a FIFA skill move. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I didn't know soccer players. He's like McGeady. He's doing like the McGeady spins out there and shit like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I didn't know players could actually do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, no kidding. Or at least, not do it and actually be able to beat players, because you think like most 5-star skill moves are kind of just for show and don't actually help you get by a defender because it's not the video game real life, but he makes it look like it. So there you go. I think next weekend we'll be back with probably some individual video bets and some individual podcast bets. Boys, thank you very much for this nice little Sunday evening recap. And Brother Keegs, congrats on a winning week. Congrats to all three of you on winning in fantasy. I've got some catching up to do already. And yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Hope listeners also enjoyed week one of the Premier League and of Banter Bets from BPL. And be well. We'll talk to you guys on Friday, maybe even Thursday. Hopefully get it out a little bit earlier this week.